Hi, I hope you missed me for a minute. When we dropped our previous Bodh explainer on why BJP-led states are doing better fiscally, the reactions were, let's just say, very passionate. Riya had broken it down beautifully. Capex-driven growth, disciplined borrowing, targeted welfare, low revenue deficit, all of this was explained. But somewhere in the ocean of comments, a certain group of people kept showing up like clockwork. Some of them were polite, some not so much. Hey, talk about Tamil Nadu da. Bro, wait, I will show you one graph. TN is the best take da. If freebies destroy economies, how come Tamil Nadu is still number one da? Hey, Dravidian Model da. This is the kind of reactions we got. So, to all the days and darks who stormed the comment section, yes, we heard you and we heard you clear and loud. Tamil Nadu does look very impressive on paper. It does lead in manufacturing. It does export very heavily. And yes, they have been giving freebies for decades now. So the obvious question is, if freebies are bad, how is Tamil Nadu still doing so well? And that brings us to today's video. If you really want to understand Tamil Nadu's economic strength today, you have to go back in time, way back. Start with K. Kamaraj, the chief minister who made education his life's mission. He built thousands of schools, expanded rural electrification, and made sure children, even in the most remote villages, could study. That single push created the skilled workforce that Tamil Nadu still benefits from even today. Then move forward to leaders like M. Karunanidhi and M.G. Ramachandran, names everyone knows, but whose economic legacy is rarely highlighted. Under them, the state set up its first big industrial estates. Agencies like SIPCOT and SIDCO, the government bodies that create industrial zones and support small industries, became the backbone of a new kind of planning. Tamil Nadu would not just be a cultural powerhouse, it would be an industrial one as well. And then came Jayalalitha, who turned that foundation into something much bigger. Her government aggressively expanded industrial clusters. They brought automobile giants to Chennai. They developed the electronics belt in Sri Perumbudur. They pushed Coimbatore and Tirupur into becoming global textile and engineering hubs. They helped Hosur become what it is today, a booming hardware and manufacturing zone. None of this happened overnight. It took 5 decades, multiple political parties, and a long list of leaders who, despite their differences, shared one common ambition, that Tamil Nadu must industrialize. The modern industrial map, the ports, the auto clusters, the electronic parks, the textile corridors, the IT zones, the dedicated export hubs, isn't the gift of any one government. It is the product of 50 years of steady cumulative policy choices. And this is the reason why Tamil Nadu today has registered over 31,000 registered factories, contributes a massive share of India's automobile and electronics manufacturing, leads in textile exports, and consistently ranks near the top in industrial output as a share of its own economy. These aren't recent achievements. These are the results of a long-term economic architecture, an architecture that the current political class has inherited and not constructed. To understand why Tamil Nadu became such an economic heavyweight, you also have to look at a very specific period in India's political history. The years between 1996 and 2014. This was the era of coalition governments in New Delhi. No national party ever had a full majority in this period, and every prime minister depended on regional allies to stay in power. And in that era, Tamil Nadu's big regional parties, the DMK and the AIADMK, were not just allies, but they were kingmakers. When a government in Delhi needed stability, it needed Tamil Nadu, and that political leverage translated directly into economic benefits. This was purely political arithmetic, and Tamil Nadu used that moment exceptionally well. Because of this influence at the center, the state received several major projects at a far larger scale than most states. The initial green signal for Chennai Metro, the expansion and modernization of the Ennore Kamaraj port and the upgrades at Thoothukudi, the new defense and research facilities from agencies like DRDO and ISRO, faster approval for national highways, new freight corridors, and rail modernization. All of this happened because of that. For nearly 2 decades, Tamil Nadu was able to negotiate, bargain, and extract central investments that other states simply could not because of this arithmetic. So by the time India entered the 2010s, Tamil Nadu was not just another industrializing state, it was a state with world-class connectivity, multiple ports, a strong research ecosystem, and deep institutional infrastructure already in place. Most opposition states today never had this kind of a head start. Tamil Nadu did, and it made all the difference in the world. Now let's talk about the part of the story that usually gets buried beneath the celebrations. The actual numbers behind Tamil Nadu's finances. And once you see these numbers, the picture changes very quickly. According to the latest budget documents, Tamil Nadu's revenue deficit, the gap between what the state earns and what it spends just to run itself, has climbed to over 46,000 crores in the 2024-25 revised estimates. What does this mean? Even in the projections for the next year, the state still expects a lot of deficit of around 41,600 crores. This means the state is consistently spending thousands of crores on a day-to-day basis, more than the expenses that it earns every single year, which includes borrowing for both routine expenditure and investments, sits in the range of 3 to 3.4% of the GSDP. And here's where the alarm bells actually start ringing. Tamil Nadu's total outstanding debt is now closing to 8 to 9 lakh crore mark. By March 2026, which is barely 3 months away, it is projected to reach 9.29 lakh crores. That's almost 1/3 of the state's entire economy. And because the debt is so high, interest payments alone now swallow nearly 20% of all revenue expenditure. That means that 1 rupee out of every 5 rupees the Tamil Nadu government spends is simply paying back the old loans and not building schools, roads, and improving hospitals. And when you combine interest payments with salaries and pensions, something very striking emerges. About 2/3 of Tamil Nadu's revenue is already pre-committed. Now let's look at where Tamil Nadu's money is actually going, because this is where the model begins to show all of its cracks. The state's biggest and most visible political promise today is its welfare system. And yes, these schemes are extremely popular, but they are also extremely expensive. Take the government's flagship program, the Kalainyar Magalir Urimai Togai, the monthly cash transfer for women. In 2025 budget, the single scheme alone costs over 13,700 crores. One scheme, one item. Then you have the Vidiyal Payanam initiative, free bus travel for women, which has now expanded to nearly 3,600 crores. Not to mention the annual Pongal gift hampers, youth stipend schemes, marriage assistance programs, expanded scholarships, and the state's extremely generous public distribution systems, where rice, groceries, and essentials are heavily subsidized or outrightly given for free. Individually, each of these schemes sounds very compassionate, but together they add up tens and thousands of crores every year, money that must be found somewhere to spend. And here's the problem. As the recurring schemes grow, the space for long-term investment actually shrinks. The TN fiscal report highlights this very sharply. A few years ago, Tamil Nadu was increasing its capital expenditure, the money used to build new roads, factories, ports, energy infrastructure. But look at what has happened recently. In FY 2022, capital expenditure grew by 11.9%. By financial year 2024, it had collapsed to just 2.45%. And this is not a small decline. It is a big warning written on a red flag. Now, to really understand where Tamil Nadu's economic stress comes from, you have to look at a part of the state's machinery that rarely gets the spotlight time in political speeches, the power sector. And within that, the biggest problem of all. Tangenco is the perfect example of how a state can look strong on paper and still have a structural weakness eating away at its core. How? Let me explain. The company's loan liabilities are now estimated between 1.3 to 1.5 lakh crores. This is not a typo. That is one utility carrying debt equal to the size of many smaller states' entire budgets. Borrowing means higher interest payments. Higher interest payments means lesser space for capital expenditure. Less capex means fewer new assets, fewer transformers, industrial parks, the very things that economy actually needs to keep growing. The simplest way to put is this: growth is happening because of yesterday's investments, fiscal stress is happening because of today's decisions. And in Tamil Nadu's case, both are true. Now let's get into the part of the story where things become a little uncomfortable. Because the current DMK government talks about this Dravidian model as if it single-handedly invented Tamil Nadu's economic success. That is a big pile of BS. Every press conference, every welfare announcement, every glossy advertisement, every political rally, the message is the same. Oh, look at our numbers, look at our growth, look at our welfare schemes. This is Dravidian excellence. It is a very powerful narrative for the media, and politically it works as well because people buy into regional pride. But when you step behind the curtain, the picture actually changes. Because the truth is, Tamil Nadu is strong today, there is no doubt. But it is strong because earlier generations built a machine that keeps running even when the driver changes. And the current administration inherited one of the most carefully constructed economic systems in modern India. And instead of making it more powerful, it is overloading it. And when it talks about manufacturing leadership, it needs to acknowledge that the foundations were laid long before 2021. And when we ask the harder question, who is mortgaging that legacy, the answer becomes very clear. In simple terms, Tamil Nadu is bragging about a house it inherited while quietly selling the foundation stones to pay for the electricity bill. This is the contradiction at the heart of the modern Dravidian model, as we call it. So whenever people defend Tamil Nadu's current model, they often compare it with states like Kerala or Punjab and say, see, they're struggling, but Tamil Nadu is doing very fine. That's one argument. And on the surface, that looks true. Compared to Kerala and Punjab, TN is doing well. But the comparison is misleading unless you understand why Tamil Nadu is actually holding up. Tamil Nadu has certain structural strengths that most other opposition-ruled states simply do not. It has multiple deep water ports, it has dense industrial corridors, it has mature manufacturing clusters that have been operating for over decades now, it has a large urban workforce, and some of the strongest engineering institutions in the entire nation. These are not small advantages. They act like cushions. They allow Tamil Nadu to absorb fiscal mistakes for longer than states like Kerala or Punjab can. But here is the important part. Longer does not mean forever. There was a time when Punjab also had buffers, a booming agricultural sector, high per capita income, and a robust revenue. There was a time when Kerala had demographic dividends, tourism booms, and strong Gulf remittances. Those buffers, although looked permanent at one point, were not. Because buffers don't collapse overnight. They thin slowly, gradually. And then one day, the decline becomes so obvious that it will be too late for you to do anything about it. Tamil Nadu is right now in that buffered phase. The economy looks strong because of the past, but the fiscal indicators we've been discussing tell a more urgent story. Niti Aayog state comparisons show Tamil Nadu ahead on human capital and manufacturing. There is no surprise there. But PRS and RBI data shows something else if you look at it very closely. There is rising revenue deficit, rising debt, and shrinking capital expenditure. This combination, a strong structural base paired with weak policy discipline, is exactly how states slide from stability into stagnation. And Tamil Nadu is not Kerala, it is not Punjab, not yet. But the direction of its numbers is worrying. And if the state continues down this path, the buffers that protect it today will not protect it 10 years from now. So what does course correction actually look like for Tamil Nadu? You see, Tamil Nadu's story is a complicated one in many ways, and it is admirable. It is one of decades of patient institution building. But conflating past construction with present competence is a mistake that can become very fatal. We are not saying that Tamil Nadu is failing today. We are saying that a structural mismatch exists between what is celebrated publicly and what the numbers show privately. That gap is the subject of scrutiny, and that scrutiny is not ideological, it is not my bias, it is arithmetic. Because here's the truth that gets buried under the Dravidian Model OPDA means. Tamil Nadu is not growing because of its welfare model. Tamil Nadu is growing because of the industrial empire that was built long before today's politicians claim credit for it. And if I'm wrong in 5 years from now, you can come back to this video and point out how I was always wrong.